Well, it may be years away, but the National Broadband Network is set to dramatically change the way you do business, especially in terms of technology. And while it's still some time away, it's not too early for your business to start to prepare. I spoke with digital expert Jim McCurley.
Well, make it a whole lot faster, which means more capacity. At the moment, most people are restricted to 2 megabits per second, or using the paired copper lines into the home, which are very, very slow, and this will absolutely revolutionise that. You're talking 50 times the speed of what most people have today.
So just how different will it be?
Well, it'll provide a lot richer source of content. So if you think now when you download and look at a video how it buffers and lets it load, well, it will stream straight in. You can video out. It'll have the capacity so you can have a two-way video or a multi-way video. Perhaps your screen is broken into 4 or 6 parts and you can see everybody that might be on a virtual meeting. It gives you the bandwidth to do that and to do it in real time without sitting there and waiting for the video signal to catch up. I mean, when video comes through a pipe, it's got to contract to the size of the pipe, and if it's bigger than the pipe's capacity, then it's got to drip feed and assemble at the other end. So the big advantage is richer content.
And from what we know of it so far, just how will it compare with the rest of the world?
That's a very good question. Compared to the rest of the world now, very favourably, given the time it's going to take to build, who knows where the rest of the world will be up to. I mean, every single country has got a public policy commitment to provide faster broadband capacity to businesses and to homes, simply because it's the future. It's like the old railroads that were put in. So it will take Australia at the moment, it'll leapfrog most of the rest of the world, but in the time that it takes to build our national broadband network, of course, the rest of the world won't stand still and will be building their own. But we have to be there to be competitive.
So from a purely business perspective and workplaces, just what are the advantages with the NBN?
Oh, look, many, many, many advantages. And I break these in 2 categories. Those things that we sort of know could happen and don't happen now because of capacity or price. And then there's a whole raft of things that we haven't even thought about yet that will be possible when you've got that sort of bandwidth. Most people are aware of digital marketing, and that's where the first major change is. But just think of something like induction when somebody starts work, and they start working for an international corporation or a mining company. Now, currently, they've got to often be put in an aeroplane, flown around, get to see the different mines, meet people. The cost of that's enormous. You could have a virtual tour of the facilities of the mine or the international company and save those costs and provide a much richer learning experience and induction process. One small example of how it will change businesses. I think another one's the supply chain. I mean, we up and down the supply chain, we process our orders, we send them off to a supplier, they process their orders, send it off to their suppliers. I mean, all that will be linked as a sort of almost a seamless supply chain. So we're going to see a lot quicker, a lot more diversity in supply, revolutionise the way that people do business.
The National Broadband Network is obviously quite a few years away, but I guess what are some things that businesses can do right now to prepare themselves for it? And most importantly, I guess with any business, they are going to want to know how much it will cost, so how they can also prepare themselves for these costs.
Well, costs, a big question. You know, one of the great debates is this is a $40-something billion expenditure, and how will the government get a return on it? Well, the answer to that is the government's not going to get a return on it in terms of the revenue it gets. The return to the government is the return to the country. It's a dividend for Australia because businesses will be more efficient, more productive, more competitive, export more. So that's what the government's got to look at, and that's the big equation. What it will cost, my experience is there's 2 barriers to people using internet and advanced technology. One is cost, so it's got to be priced competitively. Now, sure, per unit cost is going to go down, but if you're using 100 times as much capacity, then your absolute spend will probably go up. But you're substituting that for airfares and travel and training and other things, so there's some substitution around that. How that will roll out is yet to be determined, but you know, there's a net in there for sure. The other major constraint is culture. We're creatures of habit. We like to do things the way we've been doing, and adopting a culture of becoming more internet savvy, internet aware, doing things online is a very important part of the changes that are necessary if Australia is going to get its dividend out of this major investment.